Join me as I brave the elements and try to ride out Hurricane Milton right here in Florida. Hurricane Milton is a storm that's left its mark on Florida, and I'm still trying to process the scale of destruction I've seen. The urgency of the situation is real, and I want to take you through what's been happening on the ground. As Floridians prepared for the hurricane's arrival, the sense of unease was palpable. Mandatory evacuation orders were issued for several counties, with thousands of people flocking to shelters or fleeing to safer areas. Emergency services were mobilized, with first responders and volunteers working around the clock to ensure everyone's safety. But despite the best efforts of authorities, many were left to fend for themselves, struggling to find a way out of the storm's path. The roads were clogged, gas stations were running dry, and the anxiety was building. For those who decided to ride out the storm, the wait was agonizing, with hours feeling like days. As the storm drew closer, the National Guard was deployed to assist with evacuations and maintain order. The sheer force of Hurricane Milton was awe-inspiring, with winds reaching speeds of over 130 miles per hour and storm surges threatening to engulf coastal communities. The pressure to get out was intense, and many were forced to make split-second decisions that would determine their fate. Meanwhile, those who stayed behind huddled together, waiting for the storm to pass. The howling winds, the lashing rain, and the crashing thunder created an atmosphere of intense fear and uncertainty. For many, it was a night that would be etched in their memories forever. Hurricane Milton's trajectory was unpredictable, making it difficult for forecasters to pinpoint its exact path. But one thing was certain, this was a storm that would leave its mark on Florida. The storm made landfall in the early hours of the morning, with the eye of the hurricane passing directly over several major cities. The destruction was instantaneous, with buildings collapsing, trees uprooted, and power lines snapped like twigs. As the storm raged on, I managed to capture some dramatic footage of the devastation. You can see for yourself the sheer force of Hurricane Milton, with roofs torn off buildings and roads turned into rivers. The sounds of the storm are still echoing in my mind, a constant reminder of the fury that was unleashed. The moment the storm made landfall was a moment of intense drama, with the National Hurricane Center reporting sustained winds of over 125 miles per hour. The storm surge was equally devastating, with waves crashing over seawalls and flooding coastal communities. For those who were in the direct path of the storm, it was a fight for survival. As the storm begins to subside, the full extent of the damage is only just beginning to emerge. The recovery efforts are already underway, with teams working tirelessly to restore power, clear debris, and provide aid to those who need it most. But amidst the devastation, there are stories of hope and resilience, of communities coming together to support each other in their darkest hour. As we reflect on the lessons learned from Hurricane Milton, one thing is clear: the importance of preparedness and community cannot be overstated. If you were affected by Hurricane Milton, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your experiences, your stories, and your thoughts on how we can better prepare for natural disasters like this. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content on natural disasters and the human spirit that inspires us to persevere.